It's time for Inktense blocks and pencils, my fireplace, and a cup of tea. This is actually my first time really using Inktense blocks and pencils. And look at the vibrant color. Oh my gosh. Here's my fairy door. Time to paint it. I'm going to try some different techniques on each one of these pieces of wood on the door. Because, fairies are just gathering stuff in the forest. She made a pretty crude little house here, so it's not like they're all going to be exactly the same in uniform. So I figure if I do them differently, it's totally fine. I went ahead and dipped into the block. You can dip in them sort of like a watercolor. Well, like a watercolor. And here I just went with the block first. And then I'm painting like watercolors. And then I colored to get some gradation there. And I did a different color scheme over here. Whether you're doing traditional watercolors or these kind of things like Inktense blocks or watercolor pencils or the Inktense pencils by Derwent. It's an old-fashioned kind of name, right? Derwent. Sounds very British. You have to do a lot of layers. You have to be patient. Keep layering it. You have to trust the process. Like they say in the makeup videos. Trust the process. Roll with it. So I did different things on each one. And then I started mixing it up with the pencil and then painting a little and coloring a little. Using more water, using less water. I actually find that less water is nicer with these Inktense products. I really like the gradations in the wood here. And I've painted a lot. Oh, my dog's growling and snarling and yapping in the background. My little tiny Yorkie Scout. I don't know if you could hear him. So I figure this fairy probably just collected little bits of sticks and twigs. And I want them to be darker. So there's a contrast between the door and the frame. And then I did that and it's not really darker. So I'm going to have to darken it up a bit. And then I said in my other video where I was drawing this and I was doing the outline with the black that I figured she would have maybe bent a paper clip or something to make the hinge. Here's my blow dryer. I like to blow dry my artwork, don't judge me. It's so helpful. It's a great technique to dry some of your layers really good with acrylic. Once acrylic starts to dry, you can make a mess painting over it. So you can get your blow dryer out, dry it off a bit. And with watercolor, I like to blow dry too. But I am not one who uses a ton of water in my watercolors. I don't have pools on the page. That's another look. My little Scouty is barking out there. I think he's playing with my other dog, Penny. And I call her Pensies. Her little nickname, Pensies. And now I'm adding in some black just to give some shadow. And it's scary. Because watercolors are less forgiving. With acrylic, you can paint over stuff. You can layer it up pretty thick. But I have found with these that I actually can remove easily. So I decided to go gold with this because I thought maybe instead of a paper clip, maybe she stole some jewelry and found a way to use her magic to bend it up. And then for these little pebbles that she used to put around her door, so these blocks have a bunch of blocks that look exactly the same under the light. But then when you actually paint with them, you can see the gradations in the color. I'm doing a lot of lifting, but also you can see that there's variations. And I was like, Derwent, why did you give me all the same color? But it wasn't. So what I did here is I just blended and then I lifted with a, see how I'm like drying off my brush on my messy paper? I just did a lot of lifting to get the light, which is a little different. Over here, I have these violets that I put, and then I started getting a little lost because I was struggling to see where the rocks and where the flowers went. But I colored in with the white here, and then I used the purple, and then again with the brush, I'm lifting in the areas that I want it to be lighter. So I'm just coloring and then putting the white in there, and then the brush, and then lifting. I really love violets. I think they're so pretty. I don't know if they're yellow in the middle, and then I just felt like I wanted them to be yellow. So I didn't even look it up. I just made them yellow in the middle because it was fun. And I'm kind of weird because I like that old-fashioned violet candy from the 50s that tastes like perfume. So I love red mushrooms with white dots, and I'm so scared because I want to keep the integrity of my white dots when I paint, because if I get red in there, I'm going to have to go over with acrylic, and I just have this goal of like only using the blocks and the pencils in the water. I don't know why. I just want to. I am so not a purist with my art, as you can tell, because my art is kind of free-flowing. I'm doing the mushroom stem now, and then I forgot some rocks, so I'm going to get those done. And I saved the integrity of my white dots on the first mushroom. I'm so happy about it. I don't have to go over with acrylic. I'm just going to go over with the white pencil. Oh, I just did vocal fry. I can't stand vocal fry. You know, I'm a trained singer. I'll sing for you sometime. So I just can't do vocal fry. It's trained out of me. I did vocal fry when I was a teenager. If you don't know what that is, it's like when people talk like this. And it was trained out of me by my voice teacher. And so I cannot do it. So these blades of grass, they gave me some troubles because, first of all, I didn't draw enough blades here. So I'll have to go and draw them in later. There we go. And then I was trying to balance out the light and the dark, and I don't know, I was getting frustrated. So I wanted to make this like a greenish mustard yellow, and I got this gold block, and you know what I did? I broke it. I broke my first block, but I mixed this green and this mustardy goldy yellow, and when I paint it, it's so nice. It's so beautiful, and I'm so happy. I got all my violets done. In my process video drawing this, I talked about violets, that they're good for a cough. I've had a cough for like a couple months, like this funny little leftover cough, and then I was kind of freaking out, but then I see all these videos where people are like, oh, I've had a cough for months, so something went around giving you a cough for months. And you can use violet. There's this violet liqueur, so this would be for adults, but it's made of actual violets, weirdly, and it helps a cough, so you just need a little bit, like medicine. So I'm thinking that maybe this is like moss up here, but moss with watercolor or these blocks is pretty tough. I don't know. I'm sure somebody more experienced than me could do it. It's difficult because, you know, with acrylics you can kind of layer up, but this is like muddy green, but it's okay because I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. When you are doing art, just make it work. You know, when I paint dresses, there is always a random flower or cherry or something, because when you're painting a dress, it's not a canvas. The fabric doesn't behave, and you cannot stretch it out or whatever. So if I drop, I drip. If I drip, I drip. Okay, so I think there needs to be fairy magic here out of this gold outliner paint, because I feel like her fairy dust would be like just floating around. So I don't know. I don't know if it needs more, but I'm done. I think I'm done. If you didn't make a mess, did you even make art?